I want to officially welcome everyone to today's webinar, 4 Numbers That Equal Success in 2014. My name is Matt. I'm with Q4Launch. Many of you know us from various trade shows we've met at or from attending our webinars in the past. Excited that you all are along for the ride and hope that you get some great nuggets out of our time together today. I'm really excited about what we're going to be talking about today. We've spent a lot of time preparing for this webinar. We've spent a lot of time looking at a lot of data. And as a data guy, as a marketing guy, let me tell you, it was our staff's fun to joke about how Matt was going to come up with 4 numbers. They know that I'm a huge data geek, and we love looking into the numbers of the ends and the vacation rentals and the customers that we represent and digging into that to help understand what that means for their business. So I want to start by saying getting down to 4 was a huge challenge. But at the same time, we have a lot of data that supports that the 4 numbers we're going to talk about today really equal success. And I don't use those words lightly, but it's a big deal, because if you can boil down and if you can find success in these 4 things, then you'll find success in the remainder of 2014 and going ahead into 2015 as you're planning your marketing strategies and how to put more heads in beds, which is what it's all about. If you follow us on Facebook, you probably saw this little graphic that we shared. I got a lot of response from that via Facebook and a lot of emails from people who love this little graphic. You might have seen this image used in other memes around. We use this as a Facebook promotion to drive traffic for our webinar today. But this idea of I mean business to you, are you serious about your 2014? Are you serious about what's left? Are you serious about diving into the numbers and trying to make success happen? Now, as true marketers, this is a link, or it was a link when we used it, and then whether you clicked yes or no, you went to the same place. You went back to a place where you could register for the webinar. So some of you on the call today probably came to us via that channel, excited you're along with us. This is your first experience with Q4 Launch. Excited to have you on board and look forward to talking to you throughout our call together today and hopefully thereafter. But just wanted to share this and kind of set the tone for today's call. We like to have fun as a company. We joke a lot, but we're pretty serious about the business that we're in, and that's the business of helping you get more business. So without further ado, let's dive in. One of the things I'm excited about is catching people by surprise. As marketers, you're probably expecting that we're going to give you 4 numbers that all have to do with internet marketing today, and we are to a certain extent, but the last thing we're going to talk about today is something that I'm really passionate about, something that I hear from a lot of our customers is really important to them. And it might surprise you a little bit when it comes to one of those really important numbers. So hopefully it strikes you well. But without further ado, let's dive in here and start looking at some of our numbers. So the first number we have for you today is the number 750. 750 is an important number because in all the data we've crunched, at all the ends that we've looked at, all the vacation rentals that we've looked at, to get to a place of 100% occupancy, you would need 750 visits to your website per room or per property that you represent. If you're a vacation rental company, that's probably per property. If you're an inn or a boutique hotel with us today, that's probably per room. Now, 100% occupancy is not necessarily your goal. We understand that. But we wanted to start that conversation at, okay, what does it take to succeed? If I'm at 40% occupancy today, what's it going to take for me to get to 60? If I'm at 60, what's it going to take for me to get to 80? So we've created this little formula for you here to try to make this more realistic and more of a take-home for you. So the number of rooms or number of properties that you have times 750 is the number of monthly website visits you would need to get to 100% occupancy. So let's say that I'm a 20-room boutique hotel, 20-room bed and breakfast. 20 times 750, if my quick math is right, is 15,000. So if you have 20 rooms, you need about 15,000 monthly website visits to reach 100% occupancy. And I love that because as a goal-driven guy, as somebody who's like says, okay, what's my bench? That gives me a benchmark that I can look at and say, okay, now I have something to strive for. Now I know I need to get to 750 visits per room to get the kind of success that I want to see. Now you might be saying, I don't want 100% occupancy, Matt. That's not realistic. If I had that, I should raise my price. I get that. So to take this and make it a little bit more real for you and to help you understand maybe where you are versus where you want to go, we've put this little chart together for you as well that shows the monthly website visits per room needed or per property needed based on the desired level of occupancy. Now, of course, this doesn't factor in seasonality. There's always the but this or but that you might be asking. But this is a good average if you look at the course of a year. What is it going to take to succeed? So that VPR is a little acronym we put there for visits per room. So you can see if you're at 40% occupancy, you need to increase visits to your website to the 450 visits per room mark to get to 60% occupancy. Lots of other factors at play here, but from all the data we've looked at, the numerous properties we've looked at, the numerous websites we've looked at, kind of the standard that we have found is if you can get to these numbers, if you can get to 300, 450, 600 visits per room or visits per property, you should, all things being equal, have an occupancy rate that's very similar to this. So I hope that that helps you today as you're trying to plan your marketing for the second half of this year. And hopefully you spend time in your analytics looking at your Google Analytics or whatever analytics software you use to see how much traffic your website has. This will help you start to develop a plan for what you need to do. Now, the next question, of course, for you to ask is, okay, now I know how many visits I need, but how in the world do I get those visits? Well, it's a great question. We actually, I think it was last month or the month before on our time together on our monthly webinar series, hosted 7 strategies for increasing traffic to your website. So you've got this. Now you're asking yourself, how do I increase traffic? I recommend that you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Q4Launch. Check that out, and you will see a recording of our webinar, 7 strategies to increase traffic to your website, where we lay out a lot of the strategies that we use on behalf of the properties that we represent. So it's no holds bar. We tell you exactly what we do and the 7 most effective strategies we see in driving that traffic. So really excited about that, excited that you guys can hopefully take that and apply it to your business. And we're going to talk a little bit later on in our time together about how to maybe get some guidance on how to apply that and how to make that a little bit more real for you. The next thing we're going to talk about, and this is a big thing. This is a big trend that we're seeing. A lot of people are talking about it. It's all the buzz in marketing right now. But that's the number 45%. And again, as we look across our customer base, we see that our most successful customers, the most successful properties we work with, about 45% of their website traffic comes from organic search. Now, if you're not there, that's okay. There's things that can be done to improve that. But where I wanted to really go with this and what I wanted to spend a few minutes together talking about today was the idea of content marketing. So many of us are hearing the words content marketing. If you're following very many bloggers, if you follow our blog, if you're on our newsletter, if you're following a lot of the other major thought leaders out there in the industry, everybody's talking about content marketing, but not a lot of people really understand what does that mean from a results perspective. Like, what are my goals? If I was to engage in content marketing, how would I know when I had succeeded? You'll see that last bullet on the screen there, that our average customer, so we're sharing actual customer data here, organic search traffic is up 30% in 2014. On average, across our customer base, organic search traffic is up 30% in 2014. It's up 30% because of very dedicated and consistent content strategy. Content marketing is something that we take pretty seriously at our company. I would say probably a third of our entire staff is on our content team, so it's a big portion of what we do. We invest a lot of resources, a lot of time into succeeding there and being a thought leader on that side of things in the vacation space, in the travel space. But as you're looking at your analytics, your overall organic search traffic should be about 45% of your traffic. So if it's a smaller percentage than that, or you're asking yourself from the 750 number before, how do I drive more traffic? One of the big answers in 2014 needs to be content marketing. Everybody's been talking about blogging for years, but a lot of people didn't really know how do we do it, how do we do it well, how does that play into a marketing strategy, how does that drive results? And content marketing is really the result of a lot of testing and years of hard work in the content marketing or in the blogging side of things to really make that work. There's other pieces that flow into content marketing to have a good strategy there. Email marketing, there's a lot of natural overlap. There's a lot of natural overlap with search engine optimization as well, which is why the importance of an integrated approach is really such a big deal in today's marketing day and age as well. But as you know, again, trying to set a goal for you, trying to set a bar that you can measure yourself against, I would dive into your analytics and look at that percentage of organic traffic and say, okay, am I close to that 45%? And then second from that, and maybe honestly more importantly, is my organic search traffic up significantly in 2014? If it's not up by 30% or at least 25%, there's a high likelihood that there's a gap somewhere in your content marketing strategy, or maybe it's that a content marketing strategy just doesn't exist. In which case, you know, we'd definitely encourage you checking out our blog for some great resources on that, or reaching out for some help. If you're behind the game on that, you got a lot of catching up to do, but the good news is there's a lot of opportunity because it's one of the most difficult things to do well, which means your competition in your local market is probably also not doing it well. One quick success story before we move on here to the next number. We work with a really large property in the North Myrtle Beach area, and they came to us. We were helping them with SEO, amongst other things, doing our entire integrated approach for them. And during our research, we came across a competitor and said, hey, this competitor has been in the market for 30 years. They've got 4 websites on the first page of Google. They're dominating the space. We believe we can help you get success in organic search. We believe we can drive traffic higher for you, but we don't ever think we're going to overcome this huge competitor that you have. They're just outspending, they're outplaying, they're out-aging, meaning that they're older than you are from a Google perspective. It's just going to be really, really tough to do. Setting expectations, little sidebar, is something that's really important to us as a company. So we always try to set realistic expectations. And as we did that, they said, okay, but if we could beat everybody else, that would be great. And I said, awesome, let's go after it. Well, when Google made one of their updates last year, it was an update, as many of them are, that really made content marketing more and more important. We had been blogging for that customer 5 times a month, every month, for over a year. And when Google made that update, we saw immediate results from our content marketing strategy. And the exciting part for us, the exciting part for this customer was that their rankings on Google shot ahead of this competitor that we never thought we'd be ahead of because we had out-content marketed them. We weren't out spending them on pay-per-click. We weren't out spending them on SEO, but we were out-content marketing them. And Google rewarded us for playing the game they want it to be played by developing great, relevant content on a regular basis, posting that to our website. They rewarded us with really strong rankings. It's a very mature company. It's over a 20-year-old company. And in June of this year, their organic search traffic was up 57% from the previous year. And those aren't small numbers. 57% is a huge bump in their business. So you can imagine what that's doing for them. It's not like we were starting with 1,000 visits a month. It's 5-figure traffic that we're talking about from organic search here. So it's a big, big deal and has had a huge impact on their business this year. And that's just in June of 2014. A customer that's been with us for over 2 years is still seeing that really strong success. I'm not telling you that to try to tout, blow our horn or anything. I'm telling you that to try to drive home the importance of a really well thought out and well executed content marketing strategy. Again, if you're not doing that in today's day and age, you're falling behind, and there's a lot of opportunity because it's one of the hardest things to do and your competitors aren't doing that. I said it earlier, but I wanted to repeat it there for you to really drive that point home for you. So again, our number there, 45%, but snuck in an extra number there on you that your traffic should be up 30% year over year from organic search. The next number we're going to take a look at is 500. This number comes from what I believe is one of the most underutilized but highest performing marketing mediums, and that is email marketing. Now when I say 500, that's the average across our customer base. We have customers well up in the thousands, and we have customers that are down in the 200s that we're working to get up. But visits from email marketing is such an important thing that so many marketers are overlooking right now. A lot of people are saying email marketing is a dead medium. If you believe email marketing is a dead medium, you probably also think that Miley Cyrus isn't getting much publicity. I'll sneak in a Miley Cyrus joke anytime I can there, but the point is that email marketing is absolutely not a dead medium. It's becoming more and more important every day, and we believe, and what we've seen is that in the travel industry it outperforms many other industries. A lot of people say, well, why do you think that is? Well, let's run through a scenario together. I'm pretty much guessing everybody on this call today is a working person. You got a job somewhere doing something. You're not a trust fund baby, or you wouldn't be on the call with us today. There's a research study that was released that shows that the average American worker spends 28% of their workday on email. That's email from coworkers, that's email from customers, that's email from vendors, that's email from email marketing companies. That's a lot of email. That's a lot of time every day, over 2 hours every day being spent on email. Gmail being the dominant player in that game, lots going on in that space. But the reason that's important is if somebody is spending 28% of their workday getting boring work emails, and all of a sudden your message pops in their inbox and reminds them of the great experience they had staying at your property, the great experience they had taking a vacation with you, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to take a little bit of a break. They're going to sit back in their chair. They're going to read your email. They're going to remember the experience they had, and they're going to start daydreaming about coming back to stay with you again, coming back to your city to visit that great restaurant down the street, or go down that zip line, or do whitewater rafting, or whatever it is that your city's famous for. So that's a great opportunity to interrupt their day, give them a break in the busyness of that day, and give them some time to reconnect with you digitally through your email marketing. Such a crucial medium. Really want to drive that home for you. Had a question pop in here in the chat panel. How many 500 visits from email marketing over what time frame? That is in an average month, and of course that varies quite a bit. I mean, we have customers whose email databases are in the tens of thousands, and we have customers who never even had an email database before we started working with them. So you've got to kind of gauge that a little bit based on where you are in your own marketing sophistication. If you have a really large database, your numbers are probably going to be quite a bit higher than that. If you've never created an email database before and it'd be a brand new thing for you, your numbers are probably going to be a little bit lower. And honestly, what we usually see is that people's numbers are pretty low if they've been doing it before working with us. And through the email marketing strategies that we have, because we do this for so many properties and we split test quite a bit, we really know and can hone in on what works, what people are clicking on, those types of things. So you might not see numbers quite that high in your own marketing, or those may seem low to you because your database is huge and you're getting a lot of traction from it. But the takeaway there is that you really need to be having a focused effort on email marketing, and it should be about putting heads in beds and interrupting people's days in a good way to get them to come back, get them to daydream about the time that they stayed with you. We taught a great webinar that we don't have available. We co-taught it with another organization, and we don't have access to the recording, but we'll probably be teaching it again in the coming months, and that was a webinar specifically about email marketing. Great content. We also just published a blog post a couple weeks ago on 4 great email marketing ideas. You can check out our blog to find a little bit more information about that if you're asking kind of some how-to questions, or of course we'd be happy to connect with you and share some additional thoughts on email marketing and how to make it work for you. But really want to challenge you as you're planning your marketing strategy to get serious about email marketing. If you're not, it's not too late, but you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of traffic and a lot of bookings and the chance to stay top of mind with your past guest. People most likely to book with you are the people that have booked with you in the past. So don't ignore them. Use email marketing to reach them and share great relevant content with them. This is the number that I thought might surprise a few people today, and this is the 0/24, so kind of a couple numbers there, and I'm going to dive in. I'm going to unpack that for a few minutes together. and then we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk for a few minutes about what's going on in the travel industry with some of the things that we're seeing kind of across the board with the customers that we work with. So 0/24, what does that really mean, Matt? Well, 24, if you haven't caught the reference, is the number of hours in a day. So there's 24 hours in a day. I don't care who you are, if you're Richard Branson, Bill Gates, or Mother Teresa, there's 24 hours in a day. No matter what job you're in, no matter how important you are in that job, there's 24 hours in your day, and unfortunately we all get those same number. There's nothing you can do to increase that 24. So you're left with a decision about how are you going to spend those 24 hours. And all the innkeepers we've talked to, all the marketers we've talked to, the vacation rental managers we've talked to, everybody says, we ask quite often, we ask the question, what is your biggest marketing challenge? Nobody responds with, oh, I've got to figure out what Mark Zuckerberg's doing over at Facebook, or I got to understand what Twitter is doing and how to hashtag something. Nobody says that. What everybody says is, I need more time. I need more time to be able to do more marketing. And what we would say is that, at least from an internet marketing perspective, you should be spending about 0 hours a week on internet marketing. The reason being is because as you're running your business, as you're the CEO, the marketing director, whatever role that you're in at your business, many of us are owners at our businesses, you have a choice about the highest and best use of your time. Should you be spending time coaching and developing staff? Should you be spending time with your guests, making them feel special, making them feel valued, making sure that they're going to come back? Where should you be spending your time? And one of the things that we ask our customers a lot, and that we encourage you to ask yourself, is what is the highest and best use of my time? In my business, what can only I do? What am I the absolute best at? In my business, there's a lot of things I'm not great at. At Q4Launch, there's a lot of things I'm not great at. You can ask our team. But what I've done is I've hired people who are great at those things, and I've surrounded myself with those people so that I can focus on what I'm great at and what I really love to do. And that's spending time with our customers. That's spending time doing webinars like this, doing the research to pull this data together, helping our staff develop professionally and develop their own opportunities in education and so forth. I know what I'm best at, and I know what I'm not best at. So I don't spend time doing bookkeeping. I don't spend time running payroll. I outsource those things to a professional that's best at those things. And I'm not trying to tell you shouldn't understand what's going on in your internet marketing. I'm not trying to tell you shouldn't be serious about it. But if you're trying to bear that burden, 100% of that burden on your own, amongst all the other responsibilities you have as a business owner or as a manager, it's going to be really hard for you to succeed at all those things, and you're probably going to get feeling like you're pulled 100 different directions. My guess is the best use of your time is with your staff, if you have it, and with your guests, the people side of your business, the things nobody else can do. But if you can outsource some of the rest of it, if you can outsource payroll, if you can outsource your bookkeeping, if you can outsource your internet marketing, if you can really trust somebody with those things, if you can trust them to take care of it, and there's a high likelihood that just like the Nadine who does our payroll, Nadine has a much better command and expertise of payroll and tax law and bookkeeping and everything that goes into that. I don't even want to keep up with the latest unemployment tax, this or that or the other thing, but she's an expert at it, so I just trust her to take care of it. And I know when she's taking care of those things for me that she's doing a better job than I would do if I tried to do it. So even if I said, you know what, I'm going to try to do it myself, Nadine's going to do it with a higher level of expertise than I'd be able to do it. So as you're thinking about that, as you're planning the rest of your year, as you're planning where your time is going to go, I'd really challenge you to think about that. Sit down with a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, cold beer, whatever it is that does it for you, whatever helps you relax, and just say, you know, what is the highest and best use of my time? When I started this business, why did I start it? Did I start it because I wanted to spend more time with guests, or did I start it because I wanted to become a marketing executive or a payroll expert? What really is it for you that is the reason you started your business? And try to refocus try to refocus in on some of those things that will help you get better results out of your organization, out of your company, but also get a higher quality of enjoyment out of your business. So like I said, it's a little different take on a number, but with the people that we talk to, with the people that we see succeeding, the people who are at the top of their industries, this is one of the things that they have figured out. This is one of the traits that they have really commanded. If you think about the great entrepreneurs out there, the Richard Bransons of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. This is something that they have figured out. And not that we all strive to be a Richard Branson or a Mark Zuckerberg, but it's an important thing for us to be thinking about in our businesses. No matter how big or how small our business is, this is an important question to be asking ourselves. The next thing I want to do is spend a little bit of time talking about the state of the industry, talking a little bit about travel, big picture, because that's where we pulled a lot of this data, but then also wanted to talk about some of the hiccups we see specifically in the bed and breakfast space that we do quite a bit of work in, and the majority of our client base falls within. So we're going to talk for a few minutes about the state of the industry from a website traffic perspective, and I'm going to show you again some actual client data averages that we see for the first 6 months of this year versus the last 6 months of last year. What we see from these different sources is that organic search traffic is up on average 32%. So I said your organic search traffic needs to be up 30% and that it should be 45% of your overall traffic. What we see across our customer base is an average increase of 32% 2014 over 2013. So a lot of opportunity there, a lot of opportunity to put your property in front of more eyeballs, and that's where it starts. If we're going to drive more revenue, it starts by getting our product in front of more eyeballs, getting in front of more customers. The next one down there is referrals. These are other people who have a link to your website. These are people like TripAdvisor, bedandbreakfast.com, any other referral site that you might pay for a link on, third-party directories, social media. Facebook falls into this category. Referrals are up on average 3%, which from my perspective is relatively flat. There's not much happening there. And that's important because as we're looking at how are we going to get to the traffic growth that we need, we're not counting a lot on referral sources. So just being able to buy traffic by putting a link in a directory, those days are over. A lot of the changes Google's making are making that harder and harder. Now there are still some good directories out there. There's still some good referral opportunities out there. There's always exceptions to the rule. But as a rule, in 2014, we see referral traffic pretty flat year over year. Not much growth there. And alarming for those of us in the bed and breakfast industry, as many of us on the call today are, and this is something we're getting a lot of questions about right now, but bedandbreakfast.com's traffic across the board as we look at it is down 20% year over year. It's still a significant source of traffic, but it's down 20% over what it was in the previous year. Lots of reasons that might be, but again, just sitting back and saying, well, my marketing strategy is to have a directory, a listing on bedandbreakfast.com, a listing on this site or that site, probably isn't a great strategy. And if that's what you've been relying on in years past, my guess is that you're seeing a decline in that as well, because we're seeing it across the industry, and that your bookings are hurting accordingly. TripAdvisor there, you'll see is up 10%, so that's pretty significant amount of traffic. It's a big player for a lot of us, and as a part of that, and this just makes sense, it's the same with any list that you're on, the higher you are up that list, the more traffic you're going to get. So you need to have a strategy in place to make sure that you're increasing your position on that list. Make sure you have a strategy to boost your ranking up that list. If you're not in the top 3, you're missing a huge traffic opportunity, and I'd be really investing in a strategy to get yourself a little bit higher on that list, and trying to figure out how to get more reviews, get more 5-star reviews, because that's what it's all about. That's what you need. The 4-star reviews probably aren't going to help you, but getting more 5-star reviews and having a strategy to do that. The last source on our list here is not a percentage. It's a flat number, but that's email marketing again. And what we see amongst our customer base is that email marketing is delivering on average 500 more visits to our customers' websites this month than it did this year than it did last year. So in 2014, in an average month, we're getting 500 more visits from email marketing than we did the previous year. If you assume that your website converts 1% of lookers into bookers, so 1% of people who come to your website actually make a booking, that's an extra 5 bookings a month that you could be getting if you had that strategy in place for you. If it's a 2% number, you assume a 2% visit to booking ratio. That's 10 bookings a month. So that's really, really important number. Now, not all those are going to come online. A lot of those people know you because they've stayed with you before, so they're going to pick up the phone and call and book. But a really important number for you to be thinking about and for you to making sure that you're working into your strategy. So the next thing, and this is one of the important parts, one of the things I love and that we get great feedback on from our webinars from people who take advantage of it, is the concept of, okay, Matt, that's great. You shared 4 numbers with us. You shared a lot of great information. You shared the 750 visits per room needed for 100% occupancy. You shared the 500 visits from email marketing. You shared the 45% increase, or excuse me, the 45% of traffic from organic search. You shared the 0 out of 24 concept with us, but what do I do with that? It's so hard sometimes to get off a webinar and get back into your grind. Your phone is ringing over here, your staff is asking for help over here, and say, okay, how do I take my next step? I'm excited. I believe in what you're selling. I believe that that you've got the right idea, but how do I take that next step? And one of the things that we make available whenever we can, based on schedules and so forth, is the opportunity to help you take your next step and to give you some free advice and some free information. So we're continuing that trend today. This might be the last webinar we make this available on this year as the busy fall season ramps up with conferences and travel schedules and speaking engagements. Lots of things going on this fall, but on the webinar today, we have the opportunity. Those of you who are listening to a recording of the webinar will make this available as well within usually 1 to 2 weeks of the webinar. Kind of cap it after that to stop the responses. But if you're interested in learning more about your own performance, what's that next step look like? If you want to know where you fall on these 4 numbers we talked about today, the next step for you would be to do a free Google Analytics audit. Again, we want to help give back to the industry. We want to help you create a successful plan for the rest of your 2014, and we believe that starts with knowing where you are today so that you can plot a course for where you want to go. So we'll help you understand where you are today, how you're performing this year over last year, and look at some of those things with you. We'll dive into a Google Analytics audit. We'll spend about 15, 20 minutes together really diving into your data, understanding what's going on, answering your questions, and some of those key questions listed here. Are you getting the amount of traffic you need to be successful? Where are you on that 750 visits per room or per property that you need to be successful? And is it 750 or is it 600 for you? And are you getting the right traffic from the right sources? So quality of traffic is the key there. You know, you might be getting a lot of traffic, but if it's not good traffic, it's not going to book. So making sure you're getting the right traffic from the right sources and that it's high quality traffic. So we'll spend about 15, 20 minutes together talking about that. The last 5 to 10 minutes of the time we would spend together on that call is really sharing strategies to increase traffic and bookings. So we'll talk about where we are, and then we'll help plot a course for where you need to go to get to success. We'll help lay that out for you. We'll give you some great tips, some great ideas on the next steps that you could implement to really get that going. We'll take a look at your content marketing strategy if you have one. Is that going where it needs to be? And how are we seeing the evidence of that in your analytics? So lots of opportunities there. But a great next step. Again, total, that's about a 30-minute call. We ask, to respect that and respect the amount of time we're giving away on those calls. We do get quite a few inquiries for this type of thing when we make it available, so be patient with us if it takes us a few days. Typically, if you ask, we'll respond and ask you to give us a couple of times that will work for you. As part of our follow-up to today's webinar, I'm actually going to send an email to everybody who registered, so there will be a link in there you can click to go go actually fill out a request to have a call, and one of our team members will follow up with you to schedule that call. So great opportunity for you there to take those next steps. So the last thing we want to do today is spend some time having some question and answers together. You have questions, we have answers. I've got my contact information up on the screen for you there as well. If you're more comfortable reaching out to me via email or via phone, feel free to do that. But if there's some questions, the chat panel is there available for you. We're going to take a few minutes to answer your questions today and then let everybody kind of get back in line. Have a question come through here to me. How do we get an email marketing strategy going? The short answer, it's a big question, but the short answer is look at your booking engine, your reservation engine, your property management software, your CRM, whatever you use, to see how many email addresses you have. Export those to a file and then create an account with an organization like Constant Contact or MailChimp or GetResponse. The two big ones we would really recommend are MailChimp or GetResponse, but create an account with one of those companies, upload your list, and you can start doing email marketing pretty quickly with not a lot of pain. If you have an email marketing strategy and you believe it's underperforming, we'd love to talk to you about that. Or if you need help getting one off the ground, we'd be happy to talk to you about that too. But that's kind of that 500 number. That's how to get an email marketing strategy going. I guarantee you, if you implement and execute an email marketing strategy, key difference there, you got to implement it, you got to get it set up, you got to get it running, and then you have to do it. You have to execute it every month. Do one a month if you can. If you can do more, do 2 a month. That's even better. But get that, implement it, execute it. I guarantee you, you'll see an ROI. And Google me on this. You can see the research to back it up. But email marketing is one of the highest performing marketing mediums from a return on investment perspective. You'll see a lot of research reports out there to back that up if you're interested in that. Again, that chat panel is there for you. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, be happy to answer those for you. I have a question about the analytics audit coming through there. How do we get you the information for an analytics audit? One, you can email me. We would just get access to your Google Analytics. We'd look at that data together. We'll set up a go-to meeting to do that. We'll look at that data together. So you can email me access to your Google Analytics account. You can also, I'm going to be sending out an email to all of our registrants today, and you can follow through that email. There will be a link, and you can go through that process. So just the easiest way is to email us access to your Google Analytics account, and then we will schedule a time to follow up and review that together with you. So great next step for you there. Hopefully that answers your question. A question about content marketing. How do you use content marketing to drive a 30% increase in traffic? Also a great question, something we talked quite a bit about in our 7 Strategies webinar a few months back. But the core of it is that you think about the things that people, think about the questions people are asking when they're planning a trip to your area. The questions people ask when they check in, those types of things. Think about what those questions are, because chances are if they're asking you that question when they're checking into your property, they're asking Google that question when they're dreaming or planning their vacation. So think about those questions and then write great blog content that answer those questions, and phrase the actual blog title in the form of a question, so when people Google the question, Google gives them your blog as the result. So if they're looking for information on hiking in Asheville or whatever it is, you should be the people that come up for hiking in Asheville. You should be the people that come up for the best lobster roll on Cape Cod. You should be the people that come up for the best place to see seals near San Francisco. Those types of things are really important. Excuse me, there are really important parts of that strategy, and will help you start ranking for more keywords, which helps you drive more traffic. I had a question about an inn who's receiving a certain number of clicks per month. According to my numbers, they should have 80% occupancy, but are closer to 40% based on the amount of traffic they're getting. My guess is that there's a couple things. If you're getting the kind of traffic that you should be getting but not seeing a resulting occupancy, there's several things that could be going on. You could be outpriced compared to the rest of the market, so that's one factor that would make somebody book elsewhere. Price. The other is quality. Whether you have the quality that is what people are looking for or not. The way you present that quality. It doesn't matter how nice your property is, it's about how nice you present. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does matter, but on the internet it matters how nice you present it. If it's not presented as nice as it can be, then you're probably missing out on bookings you could have. So that's one. Price. how well you're presenting yourself, how well you're presenting your quality. And then the third is understanding the source of that traffic to really say, okay, is this the right traffic from the right source? Is this good quality traffic that I'm getting here, or is it potentially junk traffic? We had an inn that we were working with that from all appearances, they had a ton of traffic. I mean, they were getting 10,000 visits a month, but they just weren't hitting the occupancy numbers that they wanted to be hitting. And as we started working together and really digging deep into their analytics, what we found was they'd worked with a marketing company in the past who had just generated a ton of spam traffic, not great traffic. So it was traffic. It showed up in Google Analytics. It made the marketing company look good, but the traffic didn't convert to bookings. And at the end of the day, if it's not converting to bookings, there's really no point in having it in the first place. So there was a lot of cleaning up we had to do, a lot of cleaning up of that mess, and then really going into a strategy to get the right traffic for that customer. And I can tell you that they've received about a 20% boost in total occupancy numbers in the about 20 months we've been working with them. Huge success story, which is about a 33% overall increase in their business. So had a great time cleaning up a lot of that old traffic, which made our traffic numbers look like they were down for the first year, when in reality the quality was quite a bit higher. And now in our second year with them, we've seen the traffic exceed where it was originally, and the traffic quality stays high. So great results coming from that. So just one many stories to tell on that front. But the real, be happy to dive into a Google Analytics audit with you to take a look at some of that traffic and see what we can see if there's potential that traffic may not be converting for one of those reasons, or potentially another reason that I might not have mentioned. So, well, that gets to the end of the questions that are in the chat panel right now. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to stick around for a few more minutes, answer those questions. You can drop those in there. If not, it was great connecting with you all today. Appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance to do it, really recommend that you go to our website, subscribe to our blog. If you navigate your way to the blog, in the sidebar there, you'll see a subscription place. That'll help you keep up with what we're doing, and we share usually about a weekly blog on some things we're working on. You can see that, and you can subscribe to that, and we'll just send you an update on our blog, and it's a great chance to stay up to date with what's going on. You can also subscribe to our email newsletter in the footer of the website to be able to get more information, make sure you're staying up to date. We'll also keep you updated on future webinars that we're doing, so make sure to stay tuned for those. Email marketing is the way we get the message out on those webinars. So if you're not in tune on our email marketing, again, just proving that it works, make sure that you're getting those and checking your email, adding us to your safe senders list, and looking for that email from us. Thanks again, everybody, for your time today. I hope you're all having a great July and looking forward to an exciting August just around the corner. We'll look forward to talking to you next time.